taking into account that we're approaching holiday and there's a series of other development, and you will have a conversation with the security cluster. Immediately at the moment represented by the Minister of Police, South African Police Service, Minister Bheki Cele, and the Minister of Justice and Correctional Service, Minister Ronald Lamola. They are here as a security cluster. We will ask Minister Cele to read a statement for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister Kungubele. To my colleague, Minister Lamola, we expect to be joined by Minister Defense. Thank you, members of the media, for joining us this morning on the Day of Reconciliation. A few years ago, the democratic government renamed this day to foster reconciliation and social cohesion in a country that was once segregated along racial lines under the then apartheid system. The draconian laws of the erstwhile apartheid regime were hell-bent on perpetuating racial divisions and entrenching the systematic oppression of the majority of the people of this beautiful country. As we observe this nation-building day today, we should reflect on the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa of 1996, which, among other things, upholds a democratic, non-racial, non-sexist, united and prosperous society based on justice, equality, the rule of law, and the inalienable human rights of all. The JCPS cluster remains resolute in its concerted efforts to ensure a safe and secure country where all people mutual coexistence peacefully regardless of race, color, creed, or sexual orientation. The cluster continues to collaborate with all sectors of our society to ensure the realization of vision. The JCPS cluster is entrusted with the responsibility of ensuring the safety of all people in South Africa. Our mandate requires us to create a peaceful and conducive environment for the public. All our crime-fighting interventions to ensure the safety and security of all people are done within the confines of the laws of the country. By working closely with community structures such as community policing forum, civil society organizations, traditional leaders, and faith-based organizations, we continue to create the interface between ourselves and communities. These structures continue to strengthen our crime prevention measures within communities. Our criminal justice system continues to work hard in ensuring that those who violate the laws of the land are made to account and face the full might of the law. December is normally characterized by many people traveling to various holiday destinations across the country, and this contributes to a high traffic volumes on our roads, which unfortunately results in the loss of lives from vehicles crashes. During this time of the year, the safety of the road users, including pedestrians, becomes our biggest concern. Road traffic officers and other members of the law enforcement agencies will be out in full force to ensure compliance with the law and also facilitate the smooth flow of traffic on our roads. We appeal to the motorists to drive safely and courteously to ensure the safety of other road users, including pedestrians on our roads. Obey all the rules of the roads, amongst other things, maintaining the legal speed limit and refraining from drinking and driving or texting while driving. Road safety is everyone's business, and together we can make our roads safer. Take regular breaks to avoid driver fatigue and ensure that your vehicles are roadworthy before you undertake long trips. Let us all ensure that we arrive alive. During such period of merriment, police are often inundated with cases of missing children, especially at the coastal beaches. We urge parents not to leave children unattended near swimming pools or beaches. Avoid tragedies by being vigilant when at pools, beaches, or near water, and ensure that children wear the necessary safety equipment when using swimming pools or beaches. All law enforcement agencies, especially our police officers, will be on the high alert to respond swiftly to incidents of GBVF. We appeal to the men of our nation to take a stand and play their part in ending the scourge of violence against women and children. Report all perpetrators of the GBF to the police without delay. Department of Home Affairs will share information on the operating hours at our ports of entry, which have been extended by 2 hours to ensure proper services during this busy period. Working with law enforcement agencies, the department will be on high alert for any illegal activities at our ports of entry, including preventing the potential influx of undocumented foreign nationals and smuggling of stolen goods. Festive season this year comes at the time when South Africa is experiencing the 4th wave of the COVID-19 pandemic. COVID-19 infections are growing daily following the discovery of the Omicron variant, which is considered more contagious than the previous variants. Keep yourselves and your loved ones safe this festive season by ensuring that all your family members over the age of 12 get the COVID-19 jab, which is available for free at any of the vaccination sites across the country. Vaccines remain our best defense against COVID-19 by reducing the risk of serious illness, hospitalization, or even death. Statistics have shown that most of the people infected with the virus who are admitted to hospitals are unvaccinated. Ensure that you get your jab before you socialize, visit relatives, or go on vacation this December. While COVID-19 vaccines still remain effective in protecting us from developing a severe illness, non-pharmaceutical protective measures remain important, such as wearing a mask that covers the mouth and nose, maintaining social distancing, and regularly washing our hands with water and soap or using a 70% alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Citizens are advised to avoid large gatherings such as festivals or parties and only gather in small groups in well-ventilated areas. As we conclude, the cluster wishes to also note the recent ruling by the North Gauteng High Court nullifying and setting aside the decision of the National Commissioner on granting medical parole to former President Jacob Zuma. We have noted the DC's decision to appeal the judgment. As a cluster, we wish to reiterate our confidence in our constitutional democracy that provides that all people are equal before the law. The separation of powers and the independence of the judiciary are the bedrock of the Constitution, and our courts function without fear or favor, as they entrench the rule of law. Any form of recourse must follow appropriate channels within the confines of the law. In conclusion, as mentioned before, the police and other law enforcement agencies will be out in full force this festive season to ensure the safety and security of everyone. As the JCPS cluster, we remain committed to upholding the laws of the country. Therefore, we would like to assure the nation that working with communities, we will ensure the safety of the public during this festive season. Lastly, let us vaccinate, wear our mask, and avoid big gathering during the festive season. Just to add, the members of the South African Police, including all the law enforcement agencies in the country, have learned their lessons last July, and the experiences gained from there will be used and utilized to make sure that South Africa remains safe, stable, and calm, and all people in South Africa protected together with their properties. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister Cele. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you will have observed a concerted, coordinated, coherent intention by the cluster, security cluster, with regard to what their obligation is to a legal, free and peaceful South Africa, especially during festive season. Now it's going to be time for you to engage. Maybe you may have just 2 rounds if we can. It's your turn, ladies and gentlemen, to pose whatever questions you think you do want to pose.
Can we ask questions now?
Yes, ma'am. As long as you introduce yourself.
Sure. I don't need a mic, I can just speak. Okay.
Mike will assist to protect your throat.
Thank you so much. Sorry I missed that. It's Heidi Jacobs from ENCA. I just want to know whether or not the Army will be on standby at all, and whether or not there is any kind of concern or panic that there could be another round of unrest given the judgments that came out yesterday regarding former President Jacob Zuma. And just in regards to whether or not the Army is going to be on standby, will the SANDF be called to assist this festive season? Is there a need for that? Thank you.
Thank you, Jogos. Anyone? Remember, if you've got anything online.
Yes, Minister, just one. It's similar to Heidi's question. Good morning, Minister. It's Seaman Naidu, who's a freelance journalist, is asking, can the JCPS cluster put South Africans and business owners into confidence following the decision to send Mr. Zuma back to jail, that we will not see a repeat of what took place in July, and what are the relevant measures taken? Two, in this light, can the JCPS cluster clarify if they would consider recommending to the President to deploy the SANDF as a preventative measure to maintain law and order and send a clear message to those that seek to break the law? We also have a question.
That question is from what, Naidu?
Yes, that was from Naidu.
Okay.
There's now another question from Johnny Sai from IOL. Has there been any incidents of violence or unrest recorded after the High Court judgment? Those are the 2 questions so far.
The questions are so much, ministers. The questions cut across. I would prefer a situation where you make your contribution, and the Minister of Justice says something. Maybe we'll start with you, Minister Mlisi.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize for arriving late, caught up in traffic. You may recall that just before the local government elections, we stood right here and we said that we have an interest as the military to look after strategic infrastructure. We have been in discussion since with the Minister of Police, and Defence has agreed to take over just the toll roads and the toll gates specifically. And that decision was taken because we cannot afford a situation as a country where trucks block very strategic economic routes, which not only affect South Africa but affect the whole of SADC. So with that in mind, we had already started looking at how we would deploy to do that. Whether we are specifically deploying for December, I think usually that question will be dealt with by the Minister of Police. But usually if there is any issue which might create any uncertainty to life and limb, to property, to the economic interest of the country, Defence gets interested. So we will not hesitate if we are approached to be on standby. But we had not actually decided to get on standby simply because there is a court ruling. We were on standby to jump into the toll roads because we have been observing this trend of trucks that keep on hindering the free movement of innocent South Africans and affecting the standing of this country internationally. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much. I think the Minister of Defence has answered that question. From the side of the police, we always approach the Minister of Defence to make relevant processes and procedures going forward for the Army to be available. As I said at the end of the statement, that we have learned our experiences, and we'll have to use those experiences, that the repeat of the destruction of property and the loss of life as it happened, it shouldn't. We have met with the management and leadership of the South African Police and Defence to make the preparations that the responses and reactions are much better this time. And we believe that they are on the ground in preparation for that as we speak. But not just necessarily for the announcement that happened yesterday. This is a festive season, and you all know that all the time we are on the ground when it comes to festive season. And our plan has been always known that come the festive season, as the country itself moves to the coastal provinces, that's what we do too, that we strengthen our availability and responses in the coastal provinces that the South Africans move to. Is exactly the same pattern. We might be called to be extra cautious, to be extra agile this time, but these are things that we do all the time. It's our responsibility to protect the nation, the people, together with their property, and is exactly what the agencies, all law enforcement agencies, are instructed to do to make sure that South Africans are safe. Thanks very much.
I think the response are, but we're going to converse within the time we've agreed upon. The ministers are saying very clearly, the lessons of July will not be wasted. Since the thing happened, it's not just about December, it's a general commitment to actually lift the significance of the security of this country, whether it's to protecting lives or to protect the economy. There is a continuous evaluation and interventions. The Minister of Correctional Service may want to share some things with you. Minister Lamula.
Yeah, thank you very much, Minister Gungubele, the co-chairs of the cluster. From our side, we call for calm and refrain from all South Africans after the court judgment with regards to the former president. It is important that we allow the due processes of the law to take its course. The parties themselves are engaging on the matter in the court processes. So inflammatory statements and unwarranted attack on the judiciary will not help the process. So let's give the process space and time and refrain from those inflammatory statements and maintain calm as a country. In this moment, we need to be as calm as possible and allow all the necessary process of due process of the law to unfold as in terms of our architecture of a constitutional democracy. Thank you.
One of the most exciting things is when a young minister, a young lion, calls for peace and calm. I think it must send a very, very special message to the entire South Africa. Do we have any other questions?
Yes, Minister.
Yes.
There's a follow-up question from Karim Tefesi, who's a freelance journalist, and she's asking, has the President's expert panel to review the response to the July unrest completed its report yet?
Any other question? We are awaiting briefing from the exact office of the President as far as that is concerned. I'm not in a position now to exactly say everything is done, but I know they were actually towards the end of that process. But we'll actually advise you on the exact stage. I don't want to give the details because it's exactly in the office of the President which is dealing with that. But it's a very important question. But as that process is ongoing, we didn't wait for it to end. The ministers and the security cluster are learning from everything that has been emerging out of that process. We're not awaiting for it. We're not awaiting the end of that. Do we have another question? Of course, if the security cluster is so clear, we must feel very proud of that. Having said all that, ladies and gentlemen, we must thank the security cluster for actually ensuring that South Africa needs a reassurance against the background of July, that everything will be done to protect the economy that is on the recovery, to ensure that the lives of our people are protected. I don't want to repeat what they have said. That is their area of specialization, and we must thank them for that purpose. At that point in time, let's thank all of you. Let's go back to work. It's December 16. I know there's a lot of activities. We will actually depend on you to follow developments. And the Minister of Correctional Service has stated it very clearly. Attacking judiciary is not going to assist us in dealing with this matter, because those are the people who must state the law at all material terms. That is their area of specialization. Thank you very much.